Welcome to yet another session of political science. Let us discuss the chapter The End of Bipolarity. So, what was the meaning of the Soviet system? Let us get started with discussing the topic. The Soviet system basically was a system of complex communications. It had a very vast energy resource, including oil, iron and steel, and it had a very good transportation system as well, where the reach of transportation was to the very rural areas as well. Another important feature of the Soviet system was that it was a domestic consumer based industry. That means because of having iron and steel resources, it was a system in USSR, that is Union of Socialist Soviet Republic, that almost all the houses owned a furnace behind the house portion, that is in their backyard, and the consumer industries were quite common, where they used to produce things from pin to cars or whatever you could think of. Definitely the quality was not that very good in comparison to the West, but they were self-sufficient in context of production. Another feature was that the government had provided quite a lot of subsidies in the field of education, child care, welfare, health. Subsidies means where the cost of commodities or facilities is comparatively higher, but the government bears the expenditure, and the load on the public is quite nominal. So the government used to provide subsidies to all the sections of society to maintain equality in the social life. Another important feature was that because of the government's initiative, there was no unemployment in the country. Why? What was the feature behind? That feature was that the state owned everything, land, industries, and every other thing that you can think of. State was owning the assets, and that is why it ensured that everybody got employment and some nominal payment to maintain a lifestyle also. Then another feature that is not on the very brighter side is that the Soviet system was quite bureaucratic. That means the executives or the government service people were holding quite an influence over the common people. And authoritarian means that it was quite dominating system by this time. Why? Because there was one party rule. So the Soviet People's Party was there in rule, and because of this one party rule only, whatever the members of the political party wanted, that rules were being followed and implemented by the bureaucracy, and gave very less freedom to the common people. Another important feature, as I told you, because of bureaucratic and authoritarian influence, there was quite lack of democracy, and freedom of speech was also not allowed to the people of Soviet Union, which was an amalgamation of 15 states. Another important feature, as I told you, one party system was existing, so there was no dissent, means the power to say no to the system, or there was no competition for one party. So this party was the whole soul in this system. Moreover, out of the 15 states, Russia was holding quite a lot of dominance, and the other 14 areas or states, they were left with very nominal powers. Either you say in space technology, either you say in nuclear armaments, and even after the disintegration in 1991, Russia became the successor of USSR in United Nations as well. Now, let us discuss the topic Gorbachev and disintegration. But before this, let us understand the lineage of leadership in USSR. So, this lineage starts from the rule of Vladimir Lenin, who was there in power in 1870 to 1924. He was one of the founder member of the Bolshevik Communist Party, and he led the Russian Revolution. You have already read about him in class 9. The second leader, the influential second leader was Joseph Stalin, and he was in the reign from 1879 till 1953. This is the lifespan, and he was the successor to Lenin and led the Soviet Union during his consolidation years from 1924 to 53. And he is responsible for rapid industrialization in USSR. The next leadership that we are talking about is Nikita Khrushchev. His time was from 1953 to 64, and he is the one, he did not agree totally to the Stalin leadership, and that is why he suggested certain reforms also in 1956 and suggested peaceful coexistence with the West. The next leader is Leonid Brezhnev. His time is from 1964 to 82, and he proposed the Asian Collective Security System. The next leader in this line is Mikhail Gorbachev, who took birth in 1931, and his reign is from 1985 to 1991. He is also known for his many progressive policies that we are going to discuss furthermore. And the next leader in this chain is Boris Yeltsin, who came to power in 1991 and remained in power till 1999. So these leaders and their policies we will be discussing furthermore. Now, as I told you that Gorbachev, he came to power in the year 1985 and was elected as the General Secretary of the Communist Party of Soviet Union, and he initiated many reforms as he thought and could understand that USSR was undergoing a stagnant system. Stagnant means a system that was kept on a hold. So he introduced economic and political reform policies like perestroika, that means restructuring, and glasnost, that means openness. So he initiated these policies so that the system of USSR would become more democratic, and it would allow a little more transparency and openness for its citizens. Moreover, he is known for stopping the arms race, also the competition of arms with the West. Then he withdrew Soviet troops from Afghanistan in 1979. Students, the condition of USSR became quite drastic because they started this intrusion in Afghanistan. They invaded Afghanistan, and a lot of money was flowing in this invasion. Moreover, in East European countries also, USSR was trying to intervene with their politics. So these interventions were stopped by Gorbachev. And he also helped in the unification of Germany. One of the landmark is the collapsing of the Great Wall of Berlin. He also initiated to end the Cold War. So this is how the bipolarity in the world came to an end. Now let us understand what were the other reasons that led to the disintegration of USSR. So another reasons were that USSR, because it was giving away a lot of economic aid, moreover it was running its own economy by self-production or domestic production, it had become internally weak and the economy had become stagnant. Stagnation means that there was no growth, rather there was a decline in economy. Moreover, USSR was putting too much money into nuclear technology, military arsenals, and in comparison with the West, it was also putting money in the space programs. So there was a lot of burden, but in comparison, the income was quite limited. Another thing, for 17 years, the Soviet party was there in power, and this political party was least bothered about its accountability towards the people. That means this political party was not accountable or was not answerable to the needs of the common people of the union. So that is why the people could not relate themselves, and they found that there was a lack of their identity with USSR. So the basic soul of the union was somehow under a question mark now. Then Gorbachev's, though he made an accurate diagnosis of the problem and he tried to solve the problem also. But what went wrong? How did the the entire union started collapsing in such a rapid manner? The answer is impatience or aspiration of people. The people of USSR were impatient by this time now, and they wanted overnight or quick results, which was not possible. In the meanwhile, they had also an approach to compare the system of USSR with the Western countries, and they found that they were lacking in democracy and openness, and they wanted each and everything to be sorted out overnight. So the impatience of the people was one of the causes that accelerated the disintegration of USSR. Though Gorbachev tried to deal it out, he himself did not know that his reforms would worsen the situation rather than fixing it. Then moreover, as I told you, because of comparison and lack of accountability by the Socialist Party of USSR, what happened that the other people, they had the feeling of nationalism, and they started having a desire for sovereignty. That means they wanted to have their whole and soul power, and they wanted to take their own decisions. For this, the Baltic regions and Belarus, Ukraine, Lithuania, these areas, they initiated the process for the disintegration of USSR. This much for today's video. The next part we'll be discussing, in the next part we'll be discussing furthermore. Thank you so much.